the sunshine feels so good, but it's a little bit bright. So I have maybe 30 minutes, and I come outside to harvest some green beans and some blackberries, but I didn't have a phone tripod. Katie had it up at Mom and Dad's house, so I got her to meet me halfway with Ira. She brought him and she gave me the phone tripod. While we were standing here, I noticed there's some more honeysuckle blooming behind me. I actually, this year, earlier in the spring, with Katie and Ira's help, we actually took the boys, and we had the boys on each hip, so that means that me and Katie both between us had 2 arms. That's the deer alarms. If you've been on the channel, you know that we're having some issues with deer in the garden, and so we have these alarms that when they're motion detected, and then there's gunshots and dog barking, and that's, for the most part, that has scared away the deer. There's one deer, and she is super brave, and I'll show you some damage that she has done to my garden here in a little while. Anyways, there's some more honeysuckle, and we got some earlier in the year, and I made some earlier in the spring, and I made some jelly, and that was really cool. I've never made honeysuckle jelly. That was really fun, and it's got this beautiful floral flavor. I see some more. This is not enough to make jelly, but I wanted to dry some because I was wondering if it will be possible. I think it will. I think I've seen recipes. I might infuse some oil and make some kind of skin cream out of it or something. So I'm gonna try to get some of those amongst the deer alarm. And then I'm gonna go back out to my yard, and I'm gonna try to pick some beans, some blackberries, and I'll just kind of show you around. I've been a little bit, for whatever reason, hesitant to do a garden tour video. Part of it is just when it's this sunny like this, the quality is not that great, and I'm always on nap time. When I'm filming this, Austin's home today on the weekend, but anyways, I'll show you kind of what I got growing. You can see Granny's daylilies up there. That's a variegated variety. Those are beautiful. I want to get some, like a whole little daylily garden started at my house. Here's a closer look. Isn't that beautiful? There goes the other alarm. So I do have to say, got to get my tripod here. I do have to say, as far as picking stuff, something like honeysuckle, this is not the time of day to pick it. It's like 3 o'clock. Hours past really the best time to pick it. The best time would be in the morning, kind of right when the dew is off, but the sun has not been out yet. Sun's not been out like at its peak yet. That's what I'm trying to say. But again, I'm usually working within the window of a nap time, so I just figure something is better than nothing. This bank just goes wild with stuff, and there's a ton of stuff on this bank that's medicinal, and this year I've been learning about a lot. I've not really had a lot of time to come out here and harvest anything, but I learned that these cleavers are medicinal, the stuff that's really sticky, and this is rattlesnake root. I do not know much about rattlesnake root, but it's some kind of, I think it's white rattlesnake root. We have a bunch of it. And this is, I know it is Joe Pye weed. Some people call it gravel root because it's good for the urinary tract. And we've got a lot of blackberries growing. So I've been trying to kind of identify stuff and learn about its medicinal uses. I've got several books that are really good. I'll leave a link down below to them. So I was hoping to get a little bit of these blackberries here. I've been just picking them off right there as I go by, but I was gonna see if I couldn't cut my way in there and pick a few. You gotta check these for ants, of course. Last night I picked one of these and I said, you know, that tastes pretty good. That's got a real strange taste. And then all of a sudden I was like, what's that in my mouth? It was an ant. So this just grows wild on the bank, but I'm hoping next year to establish some ones that can grow up a trellis in my yard. You can see all these little purple flowers out here. I told Austin to let this part of the yard grow up and not to mow it yet. This is self-heal, and this is a medicinal herb. So I've been letting this grow up here so I could harvest these. Our next stop here is the cucumbers and the tomatoes. I want to show y'all how they're all doing. It's getting so kind of wild in here. Everything's growing like crazy. So I seen a cucumber. I see one down there. The cucumbers like to hide, of course. I can't remember off the top of my head what cucumbers I planted here. I'll try to put it on the screen. I also planted this flower here in all the corners called Love Lies Bleeding. It's in the amaranth family. I've also had a time with the Japanese beetles this year. I didn't know it would get this tall. I'm sure it said it right on the front of the seed packet and I just didn't pay attention. So that's also kind of what's contributing to the overcrowding. But is that not cool? I think those things are just going to get longer and longer and longer. So that's pretty neat. And they all kind of put out that flower head there. Over here though, where the cucumbers are kind of mixed in, I was trying to find it for you. There was another stalk and it just completely snapped because the cucumbers are kind of trellising over it. But that's so cool. And the cucumbers are also kind of trellising in here with this tomato. It's kind of a mess, but I think it's a beautiful mess, honestly. I've got some different varieties of tomatoes. Some of this variety right here, I think this is called Randy Hooper. This was like a variety that's local to us. They just they've not done maybe as well as the other ones. I mean, don't get me wrong, this has tomatoes on it, but some of the leaves have looked a little more sickly than the other kinds. This is what's called Alice's Dream. That's a variety from Baker's Creek. My friend sent that to me, so I wanted to try it this year. We have more of the flowers here. And then on the front side, I have more smaller varieties. Some of these are the blue cream berries from Baker's Creek. I think that's those. And then this is like maybe a sun sugar type variety, kind of like sun gold. Those have been the ones that have gotten ripe first, and so I've been snacking on those. And then there's other varieties mixed in here. I think on that other side I've got some Cherokee Purple. I think I've got Brandywine. Now these little guys have been very interesting. This is a determinate variety. I did not know it was a determinate variety. This is another one that my friend sent me, and this is also from Baker's Creek. It's called Orange Hat. I'm gonna go ahead and pick those. So funny. It's just this little bitty plant here, you know, and it's only gonna put out so many tomatoes. I'm excited to try those though, because I've never tried this variety before. That's good. It's very similar to like a sun gold or a sun sugar. That's good. So Trey, thank you to my friend if you're watching this. Those are great for like patio varieties if you don't have a lot of space. So if I grow those next year, I would probably put them in a grow bag instead of in with all the bigger cucumbers. Bigger tomatoes, that's what I meant. These are jalapenos. Honestly, that one's probably ready to be picked. I actually, the other day, made cowboy candy out of these for the first time. And last night, we tried it. And Austin and Dad loved it. And they pronounced that from now on, I had to make cowboy candy. So that was very interesting. If you don't know what cowboy candy is, it's basically just candied jalapenos and like a vinegar and sugar type of syrup. Got basil, that's just like a regular Italian variety. Some flowers, that's alyssum, more basil. Katie planted this basil so thick that I had to try to spread it out, which is fine. I cannot remember what that is. That's some type of flower. This is what's called, I think, scarlet flax. Look at that. It's beautiful. For some reason, I thought it would be more of a ground cover type flower. These are celosia. Look at how crowded those are. Katie also planted these and she went a little wild. I've just been letting them kind of fight it out. What are these? Is that a daisy of some sort? Not a daisy, but these are just columbines that have gone to seed. The begonias have done so good. Next year, I want to mix colors. They do so well for me. And then what are these? I can't never remember. Is this a type of petunia? I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. I just had to put it on the screen. But these do really well. These like double blossom purple ones have done great. These potatoes are honestly ready to harvest. As you can see, some of them are ready to harvest. And I've just not done it yet. They're flopped over. And one thing that I would probably do different next year is have the potatoes all to themselves. So that way when they do flop over and if they cast shade, they're not shading out some of the other plants. Now, if you wanted to have, if you needed a plant that needed some shade, and we don't have a ton of shady spots in the yard, we have some, but we have more with full sun, then that would be good. But that is a lavender plant that my friend got me, and then I think this was where we planted some marjoram, and it's just not done well for me, even before these potatoes got this big. This is banana mint, and as you can see, it's gone to flower. I thought this was a weed, and it kept coming up in this bed. There's also some onions in there, and I was pulling it, and then eventually one day, I think Mom was here, and I pulled it and smelled it, and I was like, that's banana mint. I had that at my old house. I just forgot about it, and it came back. That's an ice plant. He's not looking great. He needs water. I don't know what this is. I can't remember. I don't know if it's a type of a marigold or what, but it's done well. I think that's marjoram. Oh, no, that looks like thyme, y'all. That ain't no marjoram. I don't know. It smells spicy, though. See, this is why it's so important that you label your stuff, and I'm so bad about doing that. A lot of it I know what it is, but then the stuff that I'm not sure I need to label. And I'm just really bad about doing that. Peppermint from my sweet friend down the road that I've been harvesting on, and spicy globe basil, more lavender, potatoes, lemon balm and oregano that I've been harvesting, potatoes, onions that I need to be eating. Got some alyssum there. Got some different flowers, nasturtiums, more alyssum, sweet Annie, maybe. I can't remember what that is, and I can't remember what this is either. Here's a weed. This needs to be planted, and it would probably put off some more blooms if it was in the ground instead of a pot. And more alyssum. Nobody judge me. Those are my aloe plants that are outside. Honestly, bringing them outside I think has perked them up. I've got some kind of spring flower bulbs I planted there. And then this come from my great aunt. I have to ask my mom, and when she tells me, I'll just have to punch back in right here, because there's some kind of neat, I think, like familial connection, but I just can't remember what it is right now. This is a rose campion flower. My great aunt had an aunt who had this flower. This is a common flower, but what makes it special is that her aunt has been passed away for 50 years, and this flower came from her home place, and my aunt had it and has just had that flower in her yard, and then she gave us a cutting of it. So it's just special. It has that family tie, and it's from a plant start that's very old. Got more of the celosia up here on the deck. Those alyssums are not looking that great. Need to set back down here. And then we got more basil. I've been harvesting this and it just shoots right back up. Now this is interesting because this is called, I think, heliotrope. And it was dying. I did not think this would survive. I had it out in the yard, and I don't know if it had, we've had so much rain, if it had too much water, what was going on. So I got it out of that container, put it up here, put some grass clippings, gave it fertilizer, and it survived. And now it's thriving, so that's done good. And then we've got this, it says compact verbena, but isn't there another name, y'all, that this goes by? I can't remember, but it's done well. Oh, I'm seeing some raindrops, y'all. That's not good. I'll try to show you this other side of the yard real quick. That garlic really needs to be harvested. I'm going to try to do that soon this week. Onions, I need to do something with those. This is a Cosmo that is growing over here, a flower. and I've just let it grow. I've let some of this go to bolt. It's looking pretty messy. I need to probably cut some of it back, maybe harvest it what I can. This spinach just needs to be, it's just done for now. I'm going to try to plant more in the fall. We got a flower here that's coming back. Oh, it's starting to rain on me. This flower though, I had to cut it way back because I got some little bugs that are called thrips, and they were on this, so I cut it way back, but that seems to be under control now. This flower bed honestly has not done as well, I don't think, as last year, but we've had so incredibly much rain. That's dead, so I need to pull that out. That's a bachelor button. And then these hollyhocks have been beautiful, but you can see the Japanese beetle damage has been crazy. That sunflower is going to be so pretty. I think that's more like a chocolate colored variety. And I've just not weeded this, y'all, like I could. I just hadn't had the time. But look, we got some zinnias blooming. That's pretty. And then these are cactus flowered zinnias. I love the cactus flowered zinnias, the look of that. That's pretty. And we got cosmos in here. We got some more sunflowers. You can see, I'm sure that's probably Japanese beetles have done quite a bit of damage to these dwarf sunflowers. These nasturtiums though have been beautiful. These colors. I think that's some ground cherries growing in there. Some more alyssum in there, dwarf sunflowers. I don't know what kind of did that damage to that coneflower there. Maybe beetles. And then in here, there's some celosia back in there. There's also some forget-me-not, which is really pretty. If I can get the camera to focus. This blue there. So that really desperately needs to be kind of weeded. But and then these peppers. They got blown over in the storm, and there was one right there that just completely snapped in half and died. So there's actually some of these that I need to harvest. Those are shishitos, and then these are, I can't remember, that might be one of the like Carolina bell pepper varieties. These are the violet sparkles. You can see a little bit of purple. They've not turned completely purple yet, but they're like a sweet pepper, and that's some more Carolina sparkles. Violet sparkles, sorry. Now, here's where you can see where the deer, this one particular deer has done some damage to the beans. She just kind of ate the top off here, but so far, I mean, they're still beans, and so she's not done enough damage to just completely destroy the crop yet. And then these beans, y'all, they have done amazing for me, and in true Corey style, I cannot remember what went where. I think that maybe these are Blue Lake beans because they're smaller and they have more of that blue look. And then these over here are, I think, are provider bush beans, and they have really provided. I mean, that's why they call them that. These are the beans that I've got to pick because there's just a lot of them down in there, and I've been picking them. And then the cabbage really is doing pretty good. That little pole snapped. It's heading up really nicely. And then this is parsley. I almost pulled this out because it just was so slow to start. I did not think it was going to grow, but I'm glad I left it. And we got some more beans there, some potatoes, the chamomile. This chamomile, I have never had chamomile grow like this until this year. The chamomile also, unfortunately, got the thrips, but I cut it back really good, sprayed it with like water and soap, and it's been fine. So I've definitely been harvesting that. Chives, I just cut those back because they've been growing like crazy. Weeds. Lots and lots of weeds. That right there looks almost like a tomato. I don't know if it is, but I do have a tomato growing under my front steps. But these calendula just bloomed out. They honestly have kind of been slow going this year, and it may be maybe all the rain we've had so much, maybe too much, but also I had to transplant these because they were growing. I planted them in here with my other bachelor buttons, and those bachelor buttons, they just blew over and basically died. So right now there's just grass there. But check out the compost pile. It's growing potatoes and tomatoes, and this tomato has set forth blooms there, so we may get some tomatoes off of that. Look at this potato blooming in the compost pile. Isn't that funny? Austin spent the morning cleaning out the gutters, bless his dear heart. And so all of that really good leaf litter he put on the compost pile. So I think that will be really good. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is sarsaparilla, which is medicinal. I think the root is used, but you can see something has been eating on it. This tiger lily is beautiful. My aunt, you know, had this planted here. It's been here since I was a little kid. And it's going to be beautiful when it blooms. I actually planted some flowers in there, but they just haven't really done anything. So I'm going to show you the stuff at the big garden really quick. And the crabapple tree has got tons of apples on it. So definitely be some crabapple jelly in our future. So down here we've got these grapes. And this was like my aunt and uncle's. I didn't plant these or anything. But these grapes are full. They're also getting a lot of the Japanese beetle damage too though. Now this row of beans here, the deer, she has got some of these, but they still seem to be growing okay. But you can see from here the damage from the Japanese beetles, so it's not great. But I'm hoping that they'll produce some. And I've been meaning to get out here in the evening and spray them with neem oil, but it's just one of those things, you know, between bath time and for Woody and supper, it's just not happened, but that's okay. All right, I think this is the last thing I'll show y'all. This is a bush cucumber, and it's definitely got some baby cucumbers there. I've actually already harvested some cucumbers off of this. Let's see. That one right there is ready to pick, I think. These have some pretty gnarly spines, as you can see. So I got out here the other day and weeded this. It was no fun, and you can see the weeds are already starting to come back. I have already gotten a decent amount of squash off of these plants. There's a baby one. Here's one that's ready to pick though. I'm trying to pick these young because I'm really bad to kind of forget, and then before you know it, they're too big. So here's just another squash. I don't exactly know what happened there. But if you look here, I think this is because we've had so much rain. So it may have to do with that. You know, I don't know if it could produce super great fruit if it's kind of struggling there. You can see two squashes right there. Overall, this has been my favorite gardening season yet, because when I got married, I got married in March, moved into my new house kind of right when the growing season was starting, and I did a little bit, but not a lot. Then the next year, we did a lot. Then the next year we moved last year, and I was, or year before last, no, last year, that's right, 2024, and I was big pregnant, so I couldn't do a lot, and then Woody was born. So I've had a little bit more time this year, and this is kind of my favorite garden that I've had yet, and I feel like I have learned more this year about gardening than I have in all those years combined. I gotta tell you the story about my blue man here. So this blue man was not always blue. He used to be this shade of green, but then being out in the sun caused him to turn blue. So if you've been on the channel, you know we talk about our grandma, Miss Cindy, who passed away. This was in her garden. Katie, a couple years ago, went to the folk school where we live, and there was a class being held about clay and sculpture, and they wanted her to sit in so they could like sculpt her face. And they did. She did. She's like, I sat in the lawn chair up on top of this table. And after that, the teacher, he was at the same time making this bust of this man, and he really appreciated Katie's time. And at the end of the week, he said, do you want this? And she was like, yeah, I'll find something to do with that. And somehow it ended up with Miss Cindy. She painted him green, and he was the green man, and he was in her garden under her mulberry tree. And recently I brought him here to be at home as part of my garden. So I think this is all I've got time for. I don't think I have time to harvest the beans or pick the beans. The day I'm filming this is actually July 4th, and we're about to go to a cookout at our cousin's house, and I'm already pushing it. So I think I probably better go in and get ready. But Woody was taking a nap, so we were trying to let him nap as long as possible. But I made the slaw and I made some cookies, and I imagine if I'm late, everyone's gonna miss the slaw with their hamburger or hot dog. So But before I go, another thing I wanted to mention, I can't remember if I mentioned this on a video or not, that I was trying to make fish hydrolysate, like a fish fertilizer. Austin and Dad, when they went fishing the other day, they saved the scraps for me, and I was trying to make fertilizer out of them. I checked that fertilizer today, and it was pretty gross. Flies had got in there, laid their eggs, so there was like larvae and maggots in there, and I was like, I don't know about that, that's pretty gross. So I tossed it. But I want to try it again. I've got some fish scraps in the freezer actually, and then Dad and Austin are also hoping to go fishing on this long weekend because Austin has today off. But I want to know, have any of you made fish hydrolysate? And if so, maybe let me know how that turned out for you, and if I'm doing anything wrong. I used succulent sugar. I didn't have unsulfured molasses. I'm gonna actually pick up unsulfured molasses at the grocery store today and use that. I didn't have an aerator or anything like a pump, you know, introducing like fresh oxygen. I didn't do that. I just did the sugar, the fish, the water, of course, you know, non-chlorinated, non-fluoride, nothing like that. And I actually put kraut juice in there for some like bacteria as a starter. But I just don't know, it just didn't really work out. Even before the flies were in there, I was like, I just don't know if this is working right. So let me know if anyone's made that before. Alright, well, I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to tell you. I did try to make a fertilizer out of potatoes, and I did use that. It was kind of stinky, but it was just potatoes, like compost, just dirt and salt. And I let that brew up for 24 to 48 hours, and then of course you dilute it. But that was pretty cool. Fertilizer is just expensive, and I like the idea of like using kitchen scraps or fish scraps. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts on that. The novelty of coming outside to pick food just never gets old. I love that. Gardening is it's just so fun and so fulfilling, and I feel so blessed that I'm able to do this and that I have space for it and a yard for it. God is so good. God's good all the time. I don't know what that was. I heard a noise over there. God's good all the time no matter what. But this has been so fun for me this year. Learning and growing and preserving and using different recipes. So many fun things. So I got to get off here, but I wanted to just take y'all around, kind of show you a garden tour. I've just been hesitant to do that in the past because I'm like, I'm not a real gardener. I don't know that much. I'm making a lot of mistakes. I don't really feel like I should do a garden tour, but then today I thought, hey, I just want to come outside and bring y'all with me. So I can't forget the honeysuckle that I got here in my pocket. Thank you for watching. As always, God bless you, God keep you, and I'll see you on the next one.